Multiple sclerosis is a potentially disabling disease of the central nervous system, which consists of the brain and spinal cord. In multiple sclerosis, the immune system attacks the protective sheath called myelin that covers nerve fibers and causes communication problems between your brain and the rest of your body. Eventually, the disease can cause permanent damage or deterioration of the nerves. The cause of multiple sclerosis is unknown. It's considered an autoimmune disease in which the body's immune system attacks its own tissues. In this research, the data from National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke will be used to find out several possible explanations for why the immune system attacks the myelin. From the information gathered, research shows that genetic vulnerabilities combined with environmental factors may cause multiple sclerosis. Thus, by identifying the causes of this disease, the risk of developing multiple sclerosis among patients may be reduced in the future. Exactly why someone develops multiple sclerosis isn't known. It's not caused by anything the person had done, and it's not clear whether it can be prevented. Therefore, the purpose of the study is to determine the possibilities of what causes this disease in hopes to reduce the risk of having or completely prevent multiple sclerosis. In order to gain a better insight into the possibilities of what causes this disease, external secondary data research is conducted using existing research made on March 25, 2021, from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke, a component of the National Institute of Health, which is the leading federal funder of research on the brain and nervous system, including research on multiple sclerosis. Information were gathered by note-taking. All NINDS prepared information is in the public domain and may be freely copied. Therefore, all information gathered is by fair use with credits. Before we find out more about multiple sclerosis, let's get a better understanding on the myelin. Myelin sheaths are sleeves of fatty tissue that protect your nerve cells. The myelin sheath wraps around the fibers that is part of the nerve cell, also known as the axon. The sheath protects the axon a lot like the insulation around an electrical wire. When the myelin sheath is healthy, nerve impulses are sent and received quickly. However, in the case of multiple sclerosis, your body's immune system treats myelin as a threat. It attacks the myelin in the central nervous system and causes communication problems between your brain and the rest of your body. Eventually, the disease can cause permanent damage or deterioration of the nerves. Signs and symptoms of multiple sclerosis vary widely and depend on the amount of nerve damage and which nerves are affected. Some people with severe multiple sclerosis may lose the ability to walk independently or at all, while others may experience long periods of remission without any new symptoms. Researchers are still searching for possible explanations as to why the immune system attacks the central nervous system's myelin in the first place. Some suggest that the immune system is fighting an infectious agent such as a virus that has components similar to the components of the brain, thus at the same time mistaking the brain cells as a foreign object. Others suggest that it destroys the brain cell because they are unhealthy. There is also something known as the blood-brain barrier, which separates the brain and spinal cord from the immune system. If there is a break in this barrier, it exposes the brain to the immune system. When this happens, the immune system may misinterpret structures in the brain, such as myelin, as foreign. From there, researchers have concluded that multiple sclerosis can be caused by genetic vulnerabilities associated with environmental factors. Multiple sclerosis itself is not inherited, but susceptibility to multiple sclerosis may be inherited. Studies show that some individuals with multiple sclerosis have one or more family members or relatives who also have multiple sclerosis. Several viruses have been found in people with multiple sclerosis, but the virus most consistently linked to the development of multiple sclerosis is the Epstein-Barr virus, also known as EBV, the virus that causes mononucleosis. Most people get infected with EBV at some point in their lives. Only about 5% of the population has not been infected by EBV. These individuals are at a lower risk for developing multiple sclerosis than those who have been infected. However, there is still no proof that EBV causes multiple sclerosis, and the mechanisms that underlie this process are poorly understood. Several studies indicate that people who spend more time in the sun and those with relatively higher levels of vitamin D are less likely to develop multiple sclerosis or have a less severe course of disease and fewer relapses. Bright sunlight helps human skin produce vitamin D. Researchers believe that vitamin D may help regulate the immune system in ways that reduce the risk of multiple sclerosis or autoimmunity in general. People who smoke are more likely to develop multiple sclerosis and have a more aggressive disease route, according to studies. Smokers have more brain defects and shrinkage than non-smokers. However, the reasons for this are unknown at this time. Since there is still no cure for multiple sclerosis, all we can do is to prevent this disease as best as we could. Although researchers have not been able to identify the causes of multiple sclerosis with any certainty, by averting the risk factors mentioned earlier, we might be able to reduce the risk of multiple sclerosis-related disabilities. Avoiding the risk factors and maintaining a healthy lifestyle is vital in this case. However, if a person does receive multiple sclerosis, treatments can help speed recovery from attacks, modify the course of the disease, and manage symptoms.